Hey guys, welcome back to my channel and welcome to a week in my postpartum life / Lizzie's new life on this planet. So today, just like the title says, I'm bringing you around as I do stuff around my home because I pretty much haven't left my home much yet. Like I'm starting to now, but I'm still hanging at home. I am cooking, making snacks, doing my postpartum pelvic floor exercises. I got my swimsuits for summer, which I'm so excited to share with you guys. Before we hop right in, I want to give a big shout out to all of my patrons. Thank you so much for all of you that have come over and checked out my content and are supporting us over there. I upload a lot of chatty videos over there. I will have the link down below. Hello! So I'm bebopping in this vlog. I'm actually not bebopping. I'm very quietly stepping into this vlog while I feed baby. I also just noticed when I hit record that we're both wearing striped shirts. We kind of match. And it's kind of funny because I have to tell you, very regularly, I accidentally match my children. Like, I can't tell you how often people will be like, oh, you guys match, like to me and Logie, or now me and Lizzie. And I'm like, oh, I didn't even notice that. So it's like a subconscious thing, apparently. But I'm hanging out outside because it is finally sunny here in the Pacific Northwest. Although I always call it that, and then I'm like, I think we're just the Northwest, not the Pacific Northwest. But we're all very excited. As you can see, the sky is stunning and beautiful. The weather is gorgeous. And even though we did not get hit very hard with winter this last year, you still eating, baby girl? In a lot of ways, it seems like winter has just lasted forever. So it didn't hit very hard, but like we're basically almost in June and we still had a frost last night, and supposedly it's going to frost here again tonight, which is actually crazy. You guys know that a big part of the reason that we moved, well, a big part, it's lower on the list, honestly, but it was on the list, was the weather. You know, we're Southern California natives, and we were really ready for seasons, for a change in the weather throughout the year. And so I really enjoy living in a place where we have seasons. Just like in Nashville, we had seasons, but just like in Nashville, by the end of winter, I'm so over it. Oh, if you hear noises, by the way, that is in fact one of our chickens pecking at Logan's little toy truck. So you may see a chicken walk by or attempt to fly by. We'll see. Oh, a cloud over the sun. So yeah, just chilling with baby outside while the boys work on the garden. They're actually working, I don't know if you can see them, probably not, my chair's in the way. Yeah, my chair's in the way. They're actually working on our little blackberry patch because last year at the end of summer, we actually got like a bunch of blackberry starts to transplant. And I was convinced that they did not like survive the transplant. Like I thought for sure we're not going to have any blackberries. And then this spring, crazy enough, we go out and we're like, oh my gosh, it looks like it actually took. So now it's looking like we are in fact going to have a blackberry patch, which is very, very exciting. You doing good, baby girl? Yes, baby is eating out of a bottle. If I didn't already tell you guys this, I feel like I have a hard time remembering what I tell the internet sometimes, obviously. And one thing I can't remember if I said or not was that I am exclusively pumping now. I have switched from partial pumping to exclusive pumping because of my back. And I eventually ended up doing that with Logan as well, but it just took me a little while longer. Whereas this time around, my back was way on the edge of like, am I going to throw my back out type of situation? And Dan and my parents, they were all just like, no, you need to bow out of this breastfeeding game like ASAP and just switch to pumping. So I am now exclusively pumping. So she's bottle fed. Oh man. And that was an amazing switch, by the way. Like once I made the switch is when my back started getting better. And I'm definitely still dancing on the edge of like potentially, God willing, not, but throwing my back out. It still felt real iffy, but pumping versus breastfeeding is such a big difference, man. I swear breastfeeding injuries are kind of like carpal tunnel, where it's like not like, you know, people will get it at their computer with like a mouse. It's like just a tiny little baby. You're doing very basic small movements, but like over and over and over can end up in some serious injuries that plague you for a long time. And that's something I definitely learned from my just experience with Logan postpartum is that I have to take very seriously any injuries or aches or just things like that, because otherwise, yeah, it can be a really long time. Like, dude, my wrists took a solid 2 years to heal after using a hand pump in the beginning with Logan. So that's a little bit excessive. So we're hoping for none of that this time around. So yeah, I wanted to tell you guys 2 things. First thing, kind of random, I just started uploading on Patreon again. I actually uploaded a video called T-Swift Thoughts, Secular Music and Purity Spiraling today. I'm a little bit behind on that conversation, which I talk about in the video. But if you guys want to check out my Patreon, I'll have it linked down below. I have been uploading exclusive content that's a little more spicy, that's the word I keep using, than some of the stuff that I've put on YouTube, although I have put a lot of spicy stuff on YouTube too. But I will have that link down below if you want to check it out. I'm pretty sure the next week's video is going to be all about kind of like my faith journey and my thoughts around Orthodoxy, Catholicism, and Protestantism. So yeah, I do get a little bit like deeper, like I said, a little spicier over on Patreon, so I'll link that down below. And then the other thing I wanted to let you guys know about is I am actually working with Focus on the Family to share an upcoming live stream event that's going on that I'm really excited about attending. Yes, I am. Are you okay? You good? The event is called Sea Life 24. And if you have been interested at all in figuring out how to get more involved in the pro-life movement, then this event is for you. And I obviously am doing a whole lot of chilling at home right now, so it extra works. I believe I had to literally pause the video to recheck the date because I couldn't remember, but it is in fact happening on June 15th. I believe at like 6 p.m., although you'll get the email with the confirmation and the time if you register. Registration is free, and you can learn at this event all about how to get involved in the pro-life movement and just more about the sanctity of life from conception to natural death. There's going to be a whole bunch of like cool people and random celebrities, including Danny Goki, at this event. And I'm just really excited because this is something that I have wanted to step more and more in the direction of. And so I'm excited to see what they're doing, what they're putting together. Like I mentioned, registration is free. I will have it linked down below. Just know that I'm excited to not only see you there in spirit, because I will be attending, like I said, but I also just appreciate you guys. I appreciate all of your support all the time. It means a lot. But yeah, Focus on the Family has been around for forever, man. I remember growing up with Focus on the Family stuff. So, oh, baby girl. Yeah, let's block the sun. There we go. Be sure to let me know if you're planning on attending, because even though like we're not going to be there together in person, like I said, we'll be there in spirit together. And I'm just really curious at finding out like how many of you register and who it is that registers. So that's that. We're planning on doing some more sunshine activities today other than just sitting in the backyard, although this is lovely just sitting in the backyard. But I'm pretty sure we're going to end up going on a nice long walk. Logan actually got the most incredible gift from my parents. Like, I would have done anything for this growing up. He got his very own Hot Wheels or Power Wheels, whatever they're called. It's basically like a white Jeep that's his size that he can drive around the block. Oh, I just got a text. Kind of crazy, kind of cool, super blessed. And so I think we're gonna take a walk in a little bit, and I don't know, maybe a bike ride. We'll see what we can do outside on this beautiful day, because we are supposed to have today and tomorrow is supposed to be beautiful weather. Then we get some more cold weather. Then we're gonna have warmth again, and I'm just so excited for lake season to be coming upon us. So yeah, I'm gonna keep feeding this baby, check on the boys and the blackberries, and yeah. Okay, so this is kind of a random insert, but I feel like I owe it to you guys because I talked about this pump all over Instagram. I bought this because 3 out of my 4 LVs are completely dead, like the motors are done. And so I bought this cheaper pump from Mom Cozy, and I just wanted to let you guys know this pump did not work on me. It actually, yeah, it was not a good pump. And one of you guys actually sent me a link to a lactation consultant explaining why this supposedly is just not a great pump in general. And so I actually sent this back and reordered a new LV pump. So I'll be switching to that. I'll share more soon, but I wanted to at least give you that update. Not a fan of the Mom Cozy pumps. So moving on to baking. I have been slowly ramping back up my like baking and cooking game in general, as you guys know, and it's very, very exciting. I am dealing with, you know, some postpartum stuff, which I'll talk about in this video in regards to like my back is really flaring up just from all of the stretching, I would imagine, the relaxin, carrying the baby, birth, all of that. But to not be nauseous anymore is literally such a light in my life now, and to not be throwing up. So when my body can handle it, I am up cooking and baking and just doing things and getting back into the swing of life. I'm trying to not push myself too hard because I think that can cause problems and injury. And as I mentioned, like that's why I've switched to being a full pumping mom. Like I'm all about taking care of my body for the long haul. But, you know, I don't want to go mentally stir crazy, and pushing yourself a little bit, you know, is how you get stronger. So I'm up, baking, cooking to the best of my abilities, and having a great time doing it, feeling very excited to be slowly getting back to those things that I love. Like they're kind of things you have to do. Well, you don't have to make your own sourdough, but you know, food and stuff in general. But I love it. So I'm very excited. And on this day, I decided I wanted to make like many different types of bread products. So I made a new loaf of bread. Here I am mixing up a new batch of bagels, which we do a double batch of bagels every time we make them. And we cut the bagels in half when they're done and stick them in the freezer. I've mentioned this hack a million times, but if you've missed it, I'll say the hack again. Pretty much all sourdough freezes amazingly if you pre-slice it. So if you pre-slice your loaf of bread, if you pre-slice your bagels, pre-slice your English muffins, all of the above, it freezes so well. So my bagels went into my mixer because part of what makes bagels is having them mix for a long period of time, and I'm not about to do that with my hands. I love my mixer. And then over here, this dough that I am stretching and folding is actually hamburger buns. And dude, sourdough hamburger buns are so good. And I use the recipe that Little Spoon Farm has for hamburger buns. They're delicious, and both Dan and Logan and myself, but I just thought I'd give you their feedback too. They say that making our buns totally changes the hamburger game. So versus just using like toast at home or having to buy kind of bad quality buns from the store or like compromise in ingredients, this just like hits all the marks. Delicious, good ingredients, amazing. Now, as you can see, I'm also making English muffins, which English muffins took me like 12 years to get around to making. Not literally. I've only been doing sourdough for like, well, geez, actually, I guess I've been doing it for like 4 years now, maybe 5 years. Dan was the one who started the sourdough game in our house in Nashville because it was so confusing to me. I couldn't get my head around it. So Dan had to spearhead it, and I had to slowly tiptoe my way in. Now I am the main sourdough person in the household, but it's kind of cool because Dan knows how to do all of it enough to where, like, when I was pregnant, for example, a lot of times, well, pretty much the whole time, he was the one keeping up the sourdough game because he knew how, if I could just give him like the recipe. So English muffins, which I was terrified to make, by the way, turned out to, yes, be pretty easy like everyone says, but it did take a little bit of like finessing and figuring out how to work with the dough, because honestly, every sourdough product you make, I find that the dough is different for each sourdough product. Yeah, my English muffins turned out amazing, my burger buns turned out amazing, and sourdough for life, baby. By the way, if you're scared to start sourdough, you have to try my really, really easy sourdough bread recipe. I will have the video linked down below. Everyone who's been terrified to try it has come back to me and said that they couldn't believe that I was, in fact, telling the truth, that this is so easy to make. So, hello! So I'm bebopping in this video for kind of a random reason, although not that random if you watched my videos last year, because the weather is now warming up and I am level 12. I mean, excited about that. I'm so excited about the fact that it's getting warm up here in the north, but also I'm excited because I'm sharing with you today my favorite bathing suit company. And let me tell you, I have been, I mean, honestly, what woman hasn't been on the hunt, lifelong hunt for the perfect bathing suit? But honestly, when I found this company, I was so over the moon because I had already been like treading in the waters of modest swimwear. Now, let me just be real. I have been treading in the waters of modest swimwear for like years and years. Like I have pictures of me wearing a swim skirt in, where was I? In Thailand, actually, like 14 years ago when Dan and I lived in Singapore and we vacationed in Thailand. So I've always been into, specifically on the bottoms, more like of a modest, more full coverage swimsuit. Not like I haven't worn regular bikinis over the course of my life, but, and this is kind of like super specific. Also just letting you guys know that the lighting may dramatically change because I'm like, there's a bunch of clouds outside, living in the north, that's the life. Anyways, for me, I have always been kind of self-conscious of my butt since I was like 16 when I had a hip surgery. My bum has never been the same. Even if it was, I've always just been kind of like, could I just like cover up my butt? And so it's been really exciting in recent years to see like, it's become easier to get bathing suits that cover your bottoms. But just because it's become easier to get more like full coverage, modest swimwear, it does not mean that they're all made the same. Because let me tell you, when I first moved to Idaho and I knew I was gonna be living the lake life, I went on the hunt for a more modest, I keep saying that, like swimwear attire, little outfit, bathing suit, that's the word I'm looking for. And I bought some really cute suits, like very, very cute looking, cute style. But what was a super bummer is that once I wore them, I realized like the fabric didn't hold up very well. There's this weird thing that happens when you're wearing a suit with more material, which I mean, this totally makes sense, that when you get it wet, oh my gosh, the sun, I feel like I'm just like dark light, that when you get it wet, it will become heavy and it will kind of be weighed down and get long. And honestly, oftentimes very thin feeling and cheap feeling, like the fabric just completely changes. But here is where we enter Honeymark. So I'm here today to show you 3 new suits that I got for summer from Honeymark. And that leads us into, like, that's kind of the first point that I wanted to say about Honeymark. Well, first off, let me back up and show you suit number 1, which basically just looks like a mini dress. I was trying to put my hands in my pockets, let's see, because there's pockets. Oh, which, let me give you a little PSA warning. Is PSA the wording? The pocket situation, which is on all Honeymark swimsuits, basically, I think all 3 that I got, yeah, they do. They all have pockets, is super convenient and cool, especially because these Honeymark swimsuits are they kind of double as like an outfit as well. Like if you're going to the beach or the pool or a theme park or whatever, you could legitimately wear all 3 swimsuits that I got as like an outfit, and I have, and I just will put like a, not a cardigan, what are they called? Like a little, I don't even know what they're called, I'm blanking. But like, yeah, like basically like a cardigan, like the baggier ones, I've put that over my bathing suits with Honeymark. I've put jean jackets on over my bathing suits, my Honeymark bathing suits. So they're basically like outfits. Now this dress, oh, I never finished the PSA about the pockets. Don't forget that you put stuff in your pockets, because I have in fact dove into the lake with my car keys in my pockets because I forgot I was utilizing them. So be careful, though the pockets are super convenient and cool. Now I will say this little dress, what's really cool, so you've got like your little mini dress, but they're shorts. So it's got like a whole little suit underneath it, matching in the same fabric. And so yeah, you don't have to worry about like, it's obviously not really a mini skirt. So I realized I never finished either, like my biggest selling point for Honeymark, which is their fabric on their suits is so amazing. It does not do what I was saying those other suits did when I wore them. I joke, I'm like, I don't know what kind of magic fabric these bathing suits are from Honeymark, but I swear it's so crazy. I wore my suits that I had from them last year, like over and over and over and over in the jacuzzi, in the lake. Actually, those are pretty much the main places I wore them. The jacuzzi and the lake. Oh, and the river. That was fun. We did river floating. And the fabric never stretches out, which is crazy. Like you get out and you would assume, like I said with these other bathing suits, that it would be weighed down and elongated from the water. No, no, no. For whatever reason, that doesn't happen with their suits. But also on top of that, they dry super fast. So you're not walking around in like a soaking suit. You know, like someone might be like, why wouldn't I want to be like dry? These suits dry off crazy fast. And then on top of that, like it not holding the water and drying really fast, is the fabric does not stretch. So that was my biggest qualm with those other like more modest suits that I bought, is they literally stretched to the point of not fitting me anymore because there was so much fabric and the water just pulled everything down. You will not have that problem with these swimsuits. They're absolutely amazing. So this is suit number 1. I like the print. It kind of reminds me of like a 90s-ish vibe. I actually have a jumpsuit from Honey Mark that's the exact same fabric, like, or the same print, not the same fabric. But yeah, and the tops, as you can see, are adjustable. It's got like adjustable bra straps type of situation. Now this bathing suit I am wearing in a small. The next two that I'm going to show you, I wear a medium, and typically I am a medium. I'm a medium like in most clothing companies. I'm a medium in like most clothing situations, most clothing companies. And the same thing is true in my Honey Mark swimwear, except for this dress. I saw that people said that it ran a little bit bigger, so I did order a small in this one, but the rest of the suits that I'm gonna show you right now are a medium. So now that I gave you the whole like spiel about what makes these suits literally so amazing, I'm gonna go show you the other two. All right, we've got suit number 2. So this suit is in a print they call Copper Dot, and so cute. Once again, we have the pockets, and this is the suit that I actually have. Like, I already have this cut from last summer, but I have it in a dark blue, and once again, I got so much wear out of it. It's actually the suit that I wore to church family camp. And yeah, just once again, so fun, not only because it's cute, it's full coverage, you don't have to worry about it stretching out once you get it wet. But also, like I said, my favorite part, I think, is the fact that it's an outfit. It's not just a bathing suit. Because I was flashing back to like, kind of sometimes that potentially awkward moment when you're out and about at the pool or the beach or whatever, and it's like, you want to get in and then you gotta like, take everything off to get in the pool. It's not that awkward, it's fine. But you get what I mean. It can sometimes be a little bit awkward. So I love that you just are getting in what you showed up in. You don't have a whole lot of changing to do. And yeah, I also really like on this cut, this like romper cut, I really like the shoulder ruffles on the suit. Not only just because it's cute, but on top of that, I feel like you are going to not have like any kind of harsh burn or tan lines on your shoulders when you have these ruffles. Okay, so I don't really wear sunscreen unless I'm gonna be like in the sun for like an extended period of time, direct sunlight, which I kind of avoid anyways. You know, like when I'm river floating all day, I'll be using some sunscreen because I'm not really gonna have any shade other than my hat. But I really don't use much sunscreen. And so I can kind of get a little bit of tan lines. I actually, fun side note, for how fair-skinned I am, I actually tan up a lot if I want to, like I can really tan. My parents are both darker, they have darker skin than I do. And so I get it from them. I don't tend to really go red or burn very much, but like I said, what the ruffles do is it kind of almost diffuses the light a little bit, so you don't end up having any distinct lines. So that's kind of a cool feature of the ruffles on the suit. But yeah, super cute. I really like this coppery color. All right, so I had a really hard time choosing which bathing suits I wanted from Honey Mark because so many prints and colors on the site are like so cute, but I decided for this last suit to go with a basic black suit because I feel like, you know, it goes with lots of things. If you're wanting a more like casual, I don't know, like not so crazy prints type of outfit, I thought this one was super cute, and this cut, as you can see, is different. It's literally like you're wearing just like a regular romper, like a tank top with shorts. Now, just like the other ones, you've got pockets in these, and all of them, by the way, I should have mentioned this, but all of the suits are like breastfeeding friendly. They're very easy to like whip your boob out of if you're breastfeeding a baby still. But at the same time, you feel so secure in the suit. So that's the other thing that's really cool about these Honey Mark suits is yes, you have easy access for your baby if you're breastfeeding, like I said, but you don't feel like insecure, unsecure, I don't know how you'd word that, up top in any of these bathing suits. In fact, I would say it's the exact opposite, that their suits are especially like supportive. I feel very supported and covered, obviously, but the support is really awesome, especially with breastfeeding, because my boobs obviously get much bigger when I'm in milk production mode. And so to have that support, I feel like they just do such a good job. I mean, seriously, these suits are so amazing at coverage, at support, at practicality. Like, the whole line is, and that's really the woman that created the line, that's like her goal, is for all of the suits to be, and all of her products in general, to be very practical and usable. I guess that's the same thing for everyday mom life, but it's all super cute, like I said, like you're seeing. So yeah, so cute. So I probably should have said this at the beginning. That probably would have made me a better salesman, but just so you guys know, I have a discount code, and I do receive a commission off of all purchases of these bathing suits. But if you want 10% off, you can use my code Nikki10. And like I was saying, I do receive a commission, so I appreciate it so much. Anytime you guys ever buy anything from my recommendations, or I get commissions off things, I just appreciate it. It means a lot. And this is one of those things that I can promise you, pretty much I can promise you, that if you buy a bathing suit from Honey Mark, that you will not regret it. And seriously, like, just so well done. The products are incredible. I love their swimsuits. You have to tell me if you end up getting one, because yeah, I love them. I love singing their praises. I'm not even kidding you when I say this. I'm not kidding you. Every single time I wear their bathing suits out and about, to the lake, to the river, wherever, someone always stops me, like every time. And sometimes it's like 2 or 3 people in an outing. People are like, is that a swimsuit? And I'm like, yes, it is. Let me tell you about Honey Mark. So yeah, I can guarantee that you'll love them. That's pretty much it. Back into the video. I just wanted to give these a quick little shout out, and you'll be seeing me in them at the lake, out and about this summer, all summer, because these are my swimsuits. So okay, fam, this granola is amazing. I have been making a maple date granola for like the last year or so, and that granola is really good, but I kind of hit a point where all of a sudden I was like over it, and I really wanted chocolate granola. So I looked up a few recipes on YouTube, and I ended up settling on a recipe by Chef John, aka Food Wishes. Now, I changed mine just a little bit, but his basic recipe is like what I'm following, and it honestly tastes like like junky cereal in like the best way, like you're eating full-on chocolate cereal. He was saying it's like Count Dracula cereal. I've never had that before, but it's so good, especially when you make this granola and you really let it bake and bake and bake and go crispy. Like the crunchy crispiness of the oats and the nuts and the deep chocolate flavor is so good. Logan is also obsessed, and when I was making the granola, he hopped up on the counter to help me. I pretty much try to have Logan help me like very regularly when I'm cooking or baking. Now, it's a little hard sometimes because he is in fact a crazy 4-year-old boy in the best way, but wherever I can, if I can handle it, I try to bring Logan over and explain what I'm doing and let him help me, like just with little bits here and there, mixing things. Sometimes he inserts himself and tries to cut things like he just did. And yeah, I just can't explain how good this granola is. It's basically brown sugar, maple syrup, coconut oil, vanilla extract, salt. I use cacao powder. He uses like a Dutch cocoa powder, which I've used in the past, but this is what I had on hand, a raw organic cacao powder, so good. And then oats and cashews. I mean, how many times am I going to say in this that it's absolutely delicious? And I like having granola on hand, not only for cereal sometimes, which if you really bake this stuff to the point of like an excessive amount of crunch, it holds up so well in milk. It totally hit the spot. I was having a craving for a chocolatey cereal, and this completely fulfilled that craving. Also, I like having granola just sitting in a mason jar on my counter for in between meals, for snacks, or like if I wake up in the morning, I'm going to be cooking, but I don't want to necessarily, I just want to get something in my mouth, I'll just take like a handful of granola and kind of nibble on it while I'm cooking food. And Logan loves to have it as well, obviously, like I mentioned, but I'll do it sometimes as a little treat. Like I feel like, okay, you know, good job at whatever, X, Y, and Z. Here's a little bowl of granola. Or like when he does his quiet time, sometimes I'll give him a little bowl of granola. I keep the door open, obviously, no choking on granola. You know, we don't want that to happen. But I just can't say it enough. You have to try this recipe. And if I forget to link it, as usual, tell me to link it down below and I will. So I have had in my mind for like a long time, maybe like a year and a half, all of the areas in my house that I want to declutter and reorganize. And between being so sick in pregnancy, honestly, maybe if it's even been 2 years, because the year before I had dislocated my knee in the winter, and each winter I go into winter thinking, it's winter, I'm totally gonna declutter because, you know, it's the north and it's snowy and I'll be inside a decent amount. And I haven't. And so now I'm trying to approach it more like the Fly Lady style and just take like one task at a time and set my timer and just do it till the timer goes off. And what I love about the whole timer situation is that once you've made that agreement with yourself, when the timer goes off, if you're over it, like you can just walk away but still feel good about how much you did in that time frame, which it's really surprising, on a side note that's not a side note, how much you can get done when you are trying to beat the clock and you know that you have a limited time. It kind of pushes aside that feeling of like hopelessness, like I'll never get this done, because you're like, all I have to do is just do it within this time. And it's clicking, like the time is counting down, so you really feel like you have to hurry. And it's really amazing what you can get done. And I'd say 8 times out of 10 when the timer goes off, I find myself wanting to keep going anyways. So I am really hoping to slowly keep moving through some of these tasks around my house to declutter things and just hopefully get some more organizing done. I feel like in so many ways we are still deeply settling into this house, like so many things that we're trying to still set up, organize, all of that jazz. And everybody can just shout out or like send out their prayer requests for me for our second bedroom that is going to be Lizzie's bedroom, because right now it's literally like the dumping grounds room, like the room where all of the stuff that is either like extra or hasn't received a home yet goes. And it is so like messy and overwhelming. I gotta approach it with like the timer method, man. And we're starting to hit the point where Lizzie is going to need her own room. Need is maybe a strong word, but it's a whole thing. I feel like, do I explain this right now? Basically, she's starting to cross that point where rather than just sleeping through anything all day, every day, and all night, I can tell that at bedtime, I think she wants to be put to bed, not be like out with us where there's still noise and light, which our lights go very dim at night, but still. So I need to like hopefully get some energy and chutzpah to like keep going through the house one section at a time. I'll tell you what, just doing those dresser drawers was super empowering and felt amazing. Now, it was time for me to do my pelvic floor exercises. I'm doing quite a few things to try to heal from pregnancy and birth. One of them is this. This is a pelvic floor system called MUTU systems. And I used this after having Logan, but I waited much longer to start using it. So this time around, I actually started doing these exercises 2 weeks postpartum because I just felt like capable, like I could. And I don't know, man, maybe just because it's the second baby or coming out of my knee dislocation last year or like how much muscle I had built before getting pregnant, I feel this really antsy, like a drive to get back into shape. And the first step to getting back into shape, in my opinion, is going to be healing my pelvic floor muscles from everything that they just went through. So I have been doing my MUTU exercises. I've been aiming for daily. In reality, it's probably more like on average every other day. I never go more than every other day. It's just I'm not hitting every day, you know, regularly. And then this last week, I actually started work with a pelvic floor therapist in person. I'm probably going to be seeing her for about a month. And that was great because I got some information about what was going on in my body that I would not have had if I had not gone to her. And it also actually gave me some insight even into my pregnancy. Maybe I'll talk about that if you guys want to hear me talk more about that in an upcoming video. And actually this weekend, I start working again with my physical therapist, which for me, a physical therapist is kind of like the equivalent of a personal trainer. Like it's going to be a full body workout we're doing, but I work out with a physical therapist instead of a trainer because of all of my previous injuries and my joint issues. And this therapist is the same woman that I worked with when I dislocated my knee. I trained with her for about 6 months. I saw the hugest difference in my muscle growth. It's actually insane. I don't know if I've ever had muscles like that, to be honest. And yeah, she actually moved away. So we're going to work via like a telehealth, like on the phone, FaceTime type situation. But I don't want to switch to anyone else because I don't think I actually need anyone to be hands-on with me. And she had her hands on me like 3 times a week for 6 months. So she really knows my body and what I'm capable of and what I struggle with. And so I'm just really excited to, God willing, build back my strength so that I can, you know, carry my babies around and be like that fun, active North Idaho mom. So we're working on tackling the injuries, strengthening up my muscles. I have been actually listening to this podcast lately called Mind Pump. If you are wanting to be on a muscle growth journey, I highly recommend checking out that podcast, and specifically an interview they did with Dr. Gabrielle Lyon. So good. And yeah. Okay, so I had something really funny happen. I'm on a walk with Logan currently. He's way ahead of me on his bike, but we are in fact on this walk together. And he says to me when I catch up to him, he goes, "Wow, you're really fast." And I was like, "Oh, am I? Thanks." He goes, "Yeah, ever since the baby came out of you." It's like, that's very observant. I am in fact much faster now that the baby is out of me, huh? What? I'm not texting anyone. I inserted that clip there at the end just because I thought it was funny and I wanted to share. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps to support my channel. And once again, I will have Patreon linked down below if you want to check out my extra content and hang out with us over there. I will see you guys in the comments. And God willing, I will see you back here soon with another new video. Bye, guys.